was talking to a friend in his mid-70s recently, and he is about to retire after 50 years of working in the exact same job. And I'll never forget what he told me. "I'm scared to death to retire." Those were his exact words. Now that really hit me because after 50 years of work and structure and identity, to many people, retirement actually feels and looks like a death sentence. And this was terrifying to him. He said he knew people who had retired and sat down in their chairs and they never got back up. Maybe you felt something similar, or you knew somebody who retired and they regretted it or died soon after. That does happen. And if you're not intentional, your retirement really can be a slow and gradual death. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you are intentional, then it can actually be the most purpose-filled and meaningful chapter of your life. The difference is in how you approach it. And almost nobody, in my experience, is putting in the work required to have a meaningful retirement. Instead, they're just focused on finding out if their retirement is financially viable, and then they retire. But the most important part of the retirement decision is being prepared for retirement personally, not just financially. However, almost nobody knows where to begin. That's where this video comes in. You're going to want to watch the full video. Just commit to yourself and do this for yourself. I promise it's going to be worth it. And throughout the video, I'm not going to just teach you how to think about this. I'm going to give you practical resources and tools that you can go use yourself that are completely free, that will help you plan for a more meaningful and purpose-filled retirement. When people are trying to decide whether or not to retire, they typically start with this one core question. Do I have enough money to retire? It's a good enough question. It's a reasonable and necessary question, but it is also the wrong question. The real question should be, enough for what? Enough money to retire for what? To do what? What is the money for? Why do you want to retire? Not, do I have enough? Mitch Anthony said it best whenever he said a successful retirement is when you have enough purpose to wake up in the morning and enough money to sleep well at night. I think most people could benefit from hitting pause on their analytical brain and hitting play on their emotional brain, because we are people after all, not spreadsheets. Now, you've probably heard the old saying that people spend more time planning the wedding than they do the marriage, and we wonder why the divorce rate is so high. Well, retirement is really no different in this way. People keep going back to work, or they retire and they regret it, or feel like they have no purpose day to day. I believe that this is for the same reason. Most people are obsessing over the date that they retire or the amount of money that they need to retire, instead of actually focusing on the life that they want to live in retirement. This is the goal. The goal is not to retire, it's to live in retirement. The trap is thinking that retirement is the goal. Retirement is just a transition point. It's not a goal in and of itself. And so now let's take a look at how some of this actually unfolds throughout our lives. In your 20s and 30s, you have plenty of time, but you have no money and no wisdom. You probably remember those days well. In your 40s and 50s, you continue to gain money as well as wisdom, but your time actually continues to get compressed. But in retirement, you may actually have all three at the exact same time. This is what I call the trifecta. And if you plan it well, this can actually be the most impactful and meaningful period of your life. Not just financially, but personally, spiritually, and relationally. If you can avoid getting caught in what I call the bad loop, then you can save yourself a lot of trouble and get on track for a meaningful retirement. The first mistake that gets most people stuck in this loop is that they chase money thinking that it's going to make them happy. But much like the drug addict, it never satisfies. There's never enough money to make you happy, because you need to be happy regardless of your circumstances. And if you can't be, then more money certainly is not going to fix this. And so by coveting and wanting more and more, you grow impatient. You look forward to the future and all of your hope is deferred. You hope that one day you'll have money, then you'll be happy. And so you never actually end up being present in your life day to day. And the compounded effect of never being present is that you feel discontent, just generally unhappy during both your working years, and believe me, it will follow you into your retirement years if you're not intentional. But not all hope is lost. You can get out of this loop. In fact, there's an alternative. There's a good loop. And in this loop, you seek to grow in wisdom. And wisdom begets more patience. And wisdom and patience together lead to being more content. This is the virtuous cycle. By being more content, regardless of your circumstances, you'll notice that there's no mention of money in this model because it's not necessary. Your life satisfaction increases because you're more content regardless of your circumstances, much like the Apostle Paul talks about. So what do? We seek to grow in wisdom. And then we grow in patience even more, and we become more content, and we become grounded in something totally outside of our financial circumstances. And this is where true meaning can come from. Now, my personal belief is that the Bible is the source of all wisdom. However, I don't believe that you need to subscribe to my faith to see the practicality of these points. Contentment that exists outside of our circumstances is what's going to give us intrinsic meaning and purpose from day to day. And that's most often found by exploring our deepest values and being present in our life day to day. These are non-negotiables for everyone if you want to live a happy life. But it takes more than just wanting it. You actually have to do some work. So if you're ready to do more than just crunch numbers, here are 3 practical tools that will help you get started. So the first thing is that you need to see your life visually. Go to brianbraun.com/your-life/years. Once you're there, you enter your date of birth, and then you're going to see your life laid out in a bunch of tiny boxes or diamonds, depending if you're looking at the years, months, or weeks. It's a very sobering but powerful visual. Now, number 2 is to clarify your values. One really easy, low-lift way to do this is to go to the free website think2perform.com/values. Essentially, they're going to present you with 50 plus values cards. You're going to sort them into discard and keep piles, and you'll continue narrowing that down from approximately 50 to your top 5. This helps you to identify and organize and possibly even rank the things that really matter most to you, when it can be really hard to do so without some sort of a framework or something to follow. And number 3 is to answer George Kinder's 3 questions. Now, these 3 questions are golden. What they do is they take you through a series of 3 questions. In the first question, you have unlimited resources now and forever. And the question is really, what would you do? How would you change your life? What would be different? Really just dream. In the second question, you no longer have unlimited money, and you now have a time constraint. You've been diagnosed and you only have 5 to 10 years left to live. And the question is really, what would you change? And the third question cuts straight to the heart. You have no more time. It's your last day. And the question is, who did you not get to be? Did you miss anything? Were there any dreams that were left unfulfilled? And for a bonus, number 4, you can go to George Kinder's website, lifeplanningforyou.com. And there he actually has his evoke process, which helps you identify obstacles as well as how you might overcome them, so you can start living out those values and become that person now without having to be forced to by a terminal diagnosis or some other constraint. And these are helpful tools, but the key thing here is to actually take the time to plan your retirement, the life you want to live in retirement, not just the date and running the projections to see if it's financially viable. Your goal should be not just to retire, but to transition into retirement and have a more meaningful and satisfied life as a result. So I'll leave you with this. Are your retirement goals really your goals? Or are they just placeholders and socially prescribed goals? You don't need to wait to retire to live intentionally, but it is a very good time, if you haven't already, to do the deep work so that when you make the transition, your life actually gets better. Because the best retirement isn't just the one that you can afford, it's the one that you're ready to actually live. If you found this video helpful and you'd like help connecting your values to your retirement plan instead of just a spreadsheet, then feel free to reach out or click the link in the description. I'd be more than happy to talk with you and see if I can help. And if you made it this far, please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. And if you'd like to get notified every time I post a video, make sure that you select the bell icon whenever you do subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and happy planning.